All right, we are live for a Thursday edition of the People Talk Show. Excited to be back. Looking forward to connecting. And wow, lots of things unfolding right now. So I thought I would connect for a quick moment, share my 2 cents, get your guys' thoughts on what's happening. But it's just too much stuff coming out at once to the point where it's like, how do you keep track of all these events? And it's like, man, are they throwing everything at us right now? They're throwing everything, the kitchen sink included. We got the Southern invasion. We got the Biden crime family being exposed. Finally, people have been talking about Hunter Biden's laptop for 3 years now, and all of a sudden now the House Republican, oh, they just want to use this as a bargaining chip, in my opinion. So, what else? What other distractions out there? We got it's more than I can even talk about, and looks like Pac West is about to go belly up, and then of course, the debt silly Jamie Dimon out here warning people, playing a good guy now. Like he's the biggest, most important banker in this country because he heads JP Morgan Chase, which happens to be the biggest bank here in our country, amongst a couple others. But then again, his bank is unique because they have the largest silver stash as well. So it's like, man, like he's now a good Samaritan. So it's interesting, man. But we're gonna have some fun with it. Try to filter through the noise and see what sticks and what doesn't. So welcome to the live stream. Let me know if we have any first-time viewers. Let me know if the audio is coming in clear. And if you have not, as you come in, hit that thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. And then also while you're at it, if you want to be a blessing to the channel, hit that share button. Put it out there in your social media feeds. Hopefully more people come into an alternative perspective as to what's going on out here. I think people can definitely use a different take on all the narratives being thrown our way. And then also, if you have not, connect with RTD on all these social medias right here. All the information you need is in the description beneath this video, and that'll definitely keep you plugged in. So, all right, man, I have more than enough topics. I have actually, because I was planning on doing this yesterday, so I already had 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10 windows open, ready to be thrown at you guys. But I'm sure if you're plugged in, you know what's happening now. So I'll just thumb through some headlines, open up the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys, as well as any new viewers out there. Would definitely love you guys to call in and share your perspective, or keep us up to date on what's happening in your neck of the woods, or whatever else is happening in your world that might be beneficial for the community. So definitely, when it's time to talk, let me hear from you guys. Okay, so where do we start, man? Looks like the Biden family, the big guy, is getting paid. He's been getting paid all of his political career, in my opinion. And it's just interesting. I just got so many thoughts about this. It's like, how does the House Republicans all of a sudden now decide to expose what has been well known for quite some time? All the reporters that talked about the Biden laptop and everything like that were considered conspiracy theorists, and it got swept under the carpet. We got all the 3-letter agencies hiding and covering up stuff. There's so much corruption and criminality in this whole system. It's hard to keep track of who's honest these days. Like it's so bad. And once again, we're finding out about all these excess funds being provided by the Russians, the Chinese. It's like, and what's going to happen? Nothing. It's just like, who's going to police the police when the police is criminal too? Like, it's just interesting. Okay, I ran too much. All right, let me acknowledge a couple people. Then we'll keep it going. What else we got? We got Dylan checking in. We got Stock. We got Kenneth. We got Daryl. We got Faith. Self-prioritized individuals checking in. We got Witches Works Ed. We got Bougie Prepper checking in. Rob B. Dr. Moda. Appreciate you guys, man. So let's see where this takes us this evening. Let me get into some headlines and just share my 2 cents on some things and keep it moving. Okay, let's jump right into it. So here we got New York Post. This is as yesterday, so everything's 24 hours old, but it's never a dull moment. 9 Biden family members who allegedly got foreign money identified by the House GOP. I was reading through this article and just trying to see some of the figures. And just to think that, all these wire transfers going in and out of banks all across the world, it's amazing how all of a sudden now they decide to use this. And I think it's more so like, I'm not sure if it's a bargaining chip the House Republicans are trying to use this for, to get more of what they want done with the debt ceiling debacle. But by now, I'm assuming everybody sees the amount of severity as to what's at stake, because they are painting such a doom and gloom picture about what'll happen if the debt's not paid type stuff. It's like, man, like they are wanting something to happen, in my opinion. Because what better way and what greater event could our country face that would put them in the best position to be able to come up with their solution of the need for an alternative way of getting excess liquidity into the system faster. The technology is available, we can use it. And yeah, it's just anyway. Okay. Anyway, here, so it says here, just some quotes here. It says, since you asked, I'll tell you, Comer, Republican, Kentucky, told a room of reporters of Capitol Hill after laying out a new bank record evidence showing that first son Hunter Biden received $1 million from corrupt Russian businessmen. Okay, and so even the figures they're giving us here, it says emails from Hunter's abandoned laptop shows that Caroline turned her nose up on $85,000 job, and then it says here, who pleaded guilty in 2018 for making $100,000 in charges on a stolen credit card, James Biden. So yeah, like, okay, we'll never find out the real figures, but whatever figures they give us here, bank records exceed and indicated 80,000 transfer. We got 70,000 transfer from a Chinese company. So yeah. It just, we'll never find out the real figures because the big guys be getting paid for decades now. And then here's just a list of the names. It says House Oversight reveals that 9 Biden family members received wire transfers: Hunter Biden, James Biden, Sarah Biden, Haley Biden, Kathleen Biden, Miss Alyssa Biden, niece and nephews, grandchildren. They got the whole family getting foreign money. Yeah. Okay. So let me just share with you. Okay. I'm not even going to play that video. This is pointless. But once again, the question is, why now? And I have my suspicions as to why now. They are, but beyond, of course, the situation happened beneath the south of Mexico, the border. Like I'm seeing pictures every day of just more and more people just being bus loaded up here, bus loaded closer into Mexico to get over here. And so we got the debt ceiling debacle, and now all of a sudden the House Republicans want to just come out and be good Samaritans and actually report crime as they happen not even in real time, but as they've happened over the last several years or decades. It's like, come on now, like, just diversion tactics, man. So many things to distract us, keep us looking all which ways, but nothing actually getting done. And it's just, it's crazy. But I think that this whole debt ceiling is one of the reasons why this is all coming forth right now. And somehow, some way, they're going to try to use that. I'm not sure how, but we will see. And then what else? Let me keep it moving. I think the next major thing worth mentioning is this article here. And let me move myself out the way here. But it says here, Biden leaves the door open to solving the debt crisis without Congress, and it could get rid of the debate forever. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, stalemate. Nothing's actually able to be accomplished between left and right paradigm. Sure, it puts them in a position where what their goal has been all along, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you can't not raise the debt limit because that's how the monetary system works. So why not remove the whole ceiling altogether? And that's what this is all about. And so as I was thumbing through this, I'm like, okay, what is this all about? And it basically says it right here in the beginning. It says Biden left the door open to using the 14th Amendment to solve the debt ceiling crisis this past Tuesday. It says a clause in the statement would declare the debt ceiling unconstitutional and get rid of the issue forever. So here we are now, 200 plus years into our country's history, and running deficits majorly for the last almost 40 years, give or take 30, 40 years. And the word debt ceiling came about as a result of running deficits and the need to continuously roll over previous debt to try to expand the monetary base to pay off the current debt with more monopoly money, to the point where now the debt ceiling concept is unconstitutional. It wasn't unconstitutional when the previous administration was in there. It wasn't unconstitutional before that. So whether it was the Bushes, the Trumps, the Bidens, the Obamas, I never heard about it being considered unconstitutional then. But now, when the world's moving away from the current monetary paradigm and basically, banks are crumbling in real time, now it's considered to be possibly unconstitutional. What else is unconstitutional? Let's talk about central banking in general. Let's talk about taxation on income. All those things. Can we talk about those as well? No, probably not. But you get how this whole unconstitutional debate might become something that they might run with. And then once again, they might actually be able to pull this off because they need to. So what does that mean? If they remove that so-called ceiling, that basically means not only will the central bank or the Federal Reserve eventually get to the point where QE will continue to be something done on their part, but again, our government will be able to borrow with no restrictions whatsoever, no matter what side of the paradigm political party you're on. So the Federal Reserve will be there to monetize all that government debt, which is part of the whole plan anyway. So okay, so I was even questioning, like, okay, what exactly is in the 14th Amendment that would even be considered unconstitutional? And as I was going through it, we got Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. You get to Section 4, then it talks about the validity of the public debt of the United States of America authorized by law includes debts incurred for payments of pensions and bounties for services and suppression and insurrection or rebellion shall not be questioned. I'm thinking like, okay, like a lot of stuff don't really apply to this whole debt ceiling narrative. But it says here, but neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid or insurrection of the rebellion state or claim for the loss of whatever. But all such public debt obligation claims shall be held illegal and void. So once again, I don't know, I'm not into law like that, but yet nothing in there, that little paragraph, has anything to do with what the Biden regime might want to use as saying it's debt ceiling is unconstitutional. So it's basically saying the U.S. has to pay their debts or else. Is the only thing I probably can get from that. And so now, anyway, they're gonna make a argument if anything. Okay, what else we got going on here? So we cannot not talk about the most important matter in the financial system, and it happens to be surrounding the banks. And so as I was just checking out the current, let me zoom out some here so you guys can see what I see. The banks, regional banks in particular, are not doing too well. And so as you guys can see here is today's activity, and PacWest down 22%. Mid-Southern Bancorp down 13%. The Bank of Hawaii Corporation down 10%. Generations Bancorp down 7%. So just look at these figures, man. So like all these banks, every single one of them is trending down to their intrinsic value, which unfortunately is zero because it's all ones and zeros on a computer screen. So anyway, PacWest, let's get into that real quick. So PacWest bank shares tumble as crisis prompts customers to yank deposits. So we got more people yanking their deposits out. And so it says the bank's stocks briefly fell 30% before being halted for volatility today. And so not good at all. So it says the LA-based bank has had about $15 billion in readily available cash and just $5.2 billion in uninsured deposits. So people are racing to get their bread out, while the big guy is getting that Russian and Chinese money on top of whatever else he's been getting. And so here's another thing about the whole politicians getting paid or taking bribes and all the criminality behind that. I was trying to find an up-to-date list of all the current U.S. politicians, whether, whatever part of Congress, what their net worth is. And if you've been in politics for several terms, meaning like Biden's been in politics for 40 years. And then what else? All the other older generation has been in politics all their lives. They're all uber wealthy, multimillionaires making a government salary of just a measly 6 figures. And so they all have been compromised. They all have taken some deals somewhere, somehow. And the best way to realize how true that is, just look at their investment portfolios and how there's been a lot of people who keep track because it's public information, how all of the extremely connected politicians just happen to get out of certain stocks right before they crash, like the banking sector. I forgot who it was, but one of the politicians, literally 2 days before one of the most recent banks decided, collapse, he sold off all his shares. It's like, come on now. And so they've been getting rich legally. Well, not legally. It's illegal that you have inside information, but then again, it's not really been considered that. But they've made a killing using the same system that they have been supporting the entire time. And so what's the difference between getting paid under the table illegally when you're also connected, get inside information, getting paid on the table ultimately illegally because you get the information before the public does. So it's like every politician that's an uber wealthy millionaire from being in the public space should be questioned right now. Just not Democrats, just not the Biden crime family. Everybody, they've all been getting uber wealthy from the job, and they've never worked a real day. Most of them have never worked a real days worth of work in their lives. So very interesting, man. Okay, keep it moving. What else we got here? Let me see here. What else we got story wise? I got all types of stuff here. I'll spare you that. Inflation, okay, nothing new there. Chance of it going back down to their 2% target is not happening. So it's more so old news. Okay, so enough of me ranting. Those are just some things that caught my attention. Let's get the phone lines open. I want to give you guys time to let your voice be heard. So if you guys are interested in sharing your 2 cents, commenting on any of these subjects, or adding some new subjects, feel free to do so. I want to make sure that the people have a chance to speak, and we'll see what's happening. Or throw out some thoughts, ideas in the chat, and then we can try to touch on that and go from there. What else, you guys? It's been going on for centuries. Yeah. It's more than enough stuff to keep you entertained, say the least. But this is the real world, unfortunately, and this stuff is not going to end well. All right, let's talk. Hello, Carlos. Where are we calling from?
Like you said, how you been, brother?
Ed, I'm doing good, my friend. What's in your mind?
And the last thing you were talking about, that's not the reason I called, but the last thing, I think they passed some laws a few years back where they actually made it legal for them to do insider trading. You ever heard of that?
I mean, I'm not. That doesn't surprise me if that is the case, but I'm not familiar with that law. So,
yeah, they passed something where they were able to do it. You know, they probably worded it so it didn't sound as bad as it was. But yeah, basically they gave themselves permission. But anyway, the reason I called was, I heard Alex Jones say something the other night that made total sense to me. He said they have unlimited fiat currency.
Mm-hmm.
Now think of the power. Think of the power. You know, if they want money for something, they find it, or they put digits on a screen and worry about the legality of it later.
Right.
Look what they're doing with the banks, you know, and all that.
Right.
So if you got unlimited fiat currency, and it's still the best currency in the world for now, I mean, how much power? They can do whatever they want, man, because Satan will use people to have power and greed, you know, the lust of money and the lust and the pride and power. You don't have to have them all in one room, the Bilderbergs or the Rockefellers saying, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
He just has them all doing their own thing and different things, and it's all evil and destructive. What do you think of that theory?
Yeah, that sounds just about right. Like the fact that, you know, whenever it's like basically like you said, whenever they need something, they always find a way. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the past, 5 or 6 bills that were passed, the CARES Acts, all those acts were passed during this whole health situation, that they squeeze in some pork. They probably covered a lot of this stuff, you know, so they can tap into some of those funds, I'm sure. So it's available if they wanted it. But my thought is that they're literally using all of this as one big contagion event that will be unrecognizable by the masses. They won't be able to pinpoint any particular event that could be the catalyst for something tipping over and not happening, to where they'd be like, well, you know, it wasn't the banks because it was a housing market, but it wasn't that because it was a labor market and employment. So it's one of the things where they can use any type of excuse they want. Just like now, Jamie Dimon coming out being being a good Samaritan, talking about how bad the banks is. It's like he's never been so vocal about his peers until recently, when he's come out with all these doom and gloom, like talking about the tsunami and the hurricane is coming, it's going to be bad. And so, yeah, they're working a game plan. They're working a game plan. It's just very confusing to try to figure out, you know, their angle. But at the end of this, it won't be good for your average Joe or Jane. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, brother. But, you know, one thing I thought was kind of funny, they were talking about, you know, all the money they threw out for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to spend it all. And, you know, I closed my business. I retired 5 years ago. I probably had 100 phone calls. You're eligible for remember when they helped with the employees and you know, during COVID, I forget what they called it, but you know, they'll pay your employees, they'll pay your rent, they pay your utilities. They got money they can't even spend. They got so much they can't even illegally throw it out there. And I was talking to a girl that owned a big insect company, Doug. She says they sent us so much money we started sending it back.
Yeah.
trouble.
So we all know there's not really it's not really a spending issue at hand, because the funds, they, as you said, they can find it if they wanted it. Question is, they're trying to paint this narrative that it's a dire situation if the U.S. defaults. Like the fact that so many people are being so vocal in a negative sense, saying how bad things could be, is like, well, duh, we all know that, but why did you guys let it get to this point at this late of an hour? This could have been dealt with a while ago. But then again, they'll say the right is not working with us, the left, the House, the Senate. I mean, so yeah, it's unfortunate, but in the middle of all this happened to be 300 something million Americans that are going to be casualties of a financial calamity. And on top of that, the rest of the world is not too excited about what they're watching in real time unfold with this debt. Because if they raise it, or if they don't raise it, they still will try to issue more of it. And who's going to be willing and wanting to go slop all that excess stuff up that they know is not going to be repaid back in dollars that actually will be worth something in the near future. So yeah, it doesn't make us look good at all. Our full faith and credit is well beyond shattered.
Yeah. Okay. One other thing. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
What do you think the real reason behind letting all these immigrants in? They say that they want the votes, or is it just to totally destroy the country? What's your opinion on that?
I literally think by letting, so this is like what, the third or fourth wave. Like the first wave came during Trump's presidency, when he was talking about building a wall. So even during that presidency, there was a influx of immigrants coming up, and that was Trump's first presidential election. There was a wave coming up, and then that made up the whole narrative. But we need to build a wall, and I was like, okay, the wall is not necessarily keep out; it's going to be to keep in at some point in the future. And so now I think even Texas, they're talking about. I don't know if they're doing it now. Even Texas was talking about finishing or building their own wall, and I'm not sure about the other states, but they might end up doing it to where states now actually go through the process of finishing that wall. And then back to your point about why people are coming up here, I literally think it's all a part of destabilizing our country from within. Like, you infiltrate our country with all types, because I be seeing pictures, and them aren't women and children, them are grown men with beards and look like they militarized and weaponized type individuals, and they've been bussed up and flown up from all around the world to make it appear as if they're coming, from Central America, whatever. I see Asians coming, and you name it. So they've been flown in deliberately. I wouldn't be surprised by both houses, the Democrats and Republicans, and all the special groups, whatever. They're all flying them in because they just need more distraction, diversion tactics. And at some point, there's already a lot of sleeper cells in this country of a variety of nations, to where, like, literally, like, if something go wrong, they're going to have everybody activated for their own nefarious purposes. And then you're going to have foreigners coming in, going to be stealing, looting, and rioting. People will be overwhelmed. And then they're going to say, okay, the military, we need to put boots on the ground to keep peace. And yeah, it's no telling what angle, man.
They're going to, that's a gun grab too. And, at some point, I don't know if I'm just old school enough to really still believe that Americans are going to take it to a point, and then they're going to fight back. I mean, literally fight back with weapons. And, God forbid, we get some kind of civil war and we wouldn't even know who our enemy was. It ain't going to be a race thing. It's going to be a survival thing,
Yeah.
As if we ran out of food or they turned the lights off. But if they want to do that, you think they could do it anytime they wanted.
Yeah, but I don't think it's never meant to be an overnight thing. It's a slow progression. Okay. Like the influx of immigrants coming up, it's been going on since, as I mentioned, since President Trump's first term. It was happening. His first election, when he first got elected, it was happening then. So it's been happening 6-7 years now, give or take. And so it's bit by bit, but it's just now they're coming and grow. They're coming. It's even larger numbers. And you can see it, you can tell it's coordinated because you got everybody walking in unison together. And the pictures we see is, mile long people crossing bridges. Like, what the hell they've been walking across several countries. Come on now. They be getting hotel fees. They getting stipend money. They getting travel aid. They got, food packages. Like it's all a setup, man. It's all a setup, man.
Not gonna fight, or if it ends up they just take it over.
I don't know, man, but more and more, I've been thinking about like this summer, or pretty soon, I'm enrolling in tactical training so I can become better with my ability to hit the target that I need to hit when I need to hit it without losing excess bullets. So I'm trying to become more proficient with just one bullet. So it's just been on my mind a lot lately to prepare in that sense as well, because every bullet may count at some point in the future. Say that again.
I can help you out with that target shooting. You ready?
What's that?
Scope. They got scopes out there, man. I can hand you a rifle that with a scope on it. You can hit a guy with 100 yards. You can hit him in the chest first time you shoot.
That's some real. You gotta be dead on right there, man. Like, I'm not there yet. I've been practicing, but I ain't there yet. I'm just working my handgun right now.
Talking about it's the equipment, brother. It's the rifle and it's the scopes on them. You know, they magnify things so much. My son-in-law bought a rifle where he was going out. He got tired of putting bullet holes in the bullet holes from 100 yards, and he started shooting little letters on the print on the target that was about a 16th of an inch high.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even see the target without the scope. You know, I'm like, oh, it's a green or is it black? And he's shooting the letters out of it, but it's all in the equipment. But yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but think about this. Like, so for that type of accuracy, you got to be positioned, lined up, resting on the armrest. I'm talking about I'm talking about running for my life, be able to hit a off somebody's head, like, you know what I'm saying, that type of accuracy where get your cardio up too. So I'm not talking about just sitting there trying to spot them a mile away, because like by the time they're gonna be too close.
That's for you young guys, man. I'm gonna kick up in the garage door and spray him with an AR-15. That's it.
All right, my man. Good talking to you tonight. Appreciate you.
All right, you too, man.
Be good. Oh man, good stuff. Yeah, like, so just, I don't know what it is, man. Like, literally, I've been, going to the range. I mean, you never know, man. That's a skill set definitely would be worth having, because you don't want to waste no excess bullets. Every bullet go count. Every bullet might count. All right, what else we got going on here? Huge transfer of wealth is underway. Oh, 100%. The wealth of the unrighteous is laid up for the just. It is a wealth transfer. You believe that? I do believe that. Red dot. Yeah, red dot would be fine, but then again, like, it's a distance thing. Like, a red dot will work if you got some space between you and whoever. But I'm talking about, by the time you may pick off a couple, your location has been identified. So now it's like, okay, they can scramble, come from behind me. It can become a real combat type of zone. Once they realize where that dot is coming from, you better be careful, because you know what I'm saying, you got to make sure you have all your peripherals taken care of. Yeah, so you don't might want to give yourself away if it get to that. We're just talking hypothetical. This is just having some fun tonight. That's all. Let me get this call. Give me 1 second. I got you on here. Maybe I don't. Let me see if I get you. Hello?
How you doing? Dakota.
I'm doing good. You say Philip from North Dakota?
Yeah, man. I'm the peanut boy, the boiled peanut guy.
The boiled peanut guy. How you doing, my friend? You still slanging them peanuts?
What's up, man? No, man. I mean, yes and no. But so what I've been hearing from the grapevine, man, is that Biden is using Ukraine as a patsy. Basically, all of them in Ukraine are siphoning or skimming like billions and millions off the top of all the aid, right?
Right.
So essentially, what I'm hearing is that Ukrainians is buying diesel from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And Russia's basically telling America, hey, look, y'all demilitarize and we'll just cease. And we'll let bygones be bygones. But Biden's using it as a ploy to basically keep the fight going as a distraction to possibly get reelected. But then you find out all of this corruption and all the money, where all the money's flowing in the Biden family, right? All that stuff's being uncovered now.
Yeah. And as I was saying before, even the figures that they're trying to put out there, they're very small. Like, if the GOP went through the bank records, they pulled out some of the smallest transfers. It's probably most recent, minuscule amounts. I'm thinking about, if you go back to history of more than just the Biden family, you're going to see, like, you go to Obama's records, you're going to see a lot of, shady business of them funneling funds forever. Like, all this aid has been sent around the world as a part of humanitarian crises. It all goes into the businesses that are supporting, the rebuilding process in all those countries. So the politicians, they got share prices in all those countries, or their cousins own the businesses. So it's all been funneled, like beyond just Ukraine. So I would question where all the funds went because it's unlimited. They can send it whenever, however they want. And up until now, it's not been talked about publicly. But yet we all know that there's been a lot of shady deals happening behind closed doors. Just look at all the uber wealthy, like, net worth, $100 million, making a $300,000 salary. Come on now, like something's going on. So yeah.
They're basically saying also, like, why are you picking a fight with Russia when you have to pay Lockheed Martin and all these other companies for the bullets and ammunition? But Russia, they don't got to pay nobody. Putin just say, hey, man, this is what I want, and then he can get it.
Yeah.
Without even having to pay for it because it's all nationalized, right?
In Russia?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
He don't got to pay no company that's making bullets and missiles. He just got to order them.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a good deal for them. But I didn't know if the whole militarized companies were nationalized like that. I don't know that. So, but they got
hearing in the grapevine is basically Ukrainians is pumping out rounds left and right, just burning up ammunition, whether they should have shot the bullets or not. So essentially, they're just out here just wasting bullets, wasting ammo, putting on a show, but it's coming at the taxpayer's dollar, right? But essentially, Russia, they just got to call the depot and say, hey, man, I need like 200 more million rounds, and they don't even have to worry about where the money is coming from. They just got it. Just like, all right, here you go. They don't have to go to a corporate deal and ask them for permission and put themselves in debt or the citizens in debt, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
So you're going to war with a person who's been preparing to go to war with your ass, and y'all out here just spending exuberant amounts of money at Ukraine's expense, right? So it's like, I feel like they're like, hey, Ukraine, like, just keep this war going. We're going to give you all this paper. Whether you can do something with it or not, we hope Russia don't nuke your ass. But if you live, we'll let you be part of the UN. I feel like that's what's going on.
Right. Hey, I don't doubt it, man. Hey, appreciate you calling, my friend.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, be good. Yeah. Yeah, man. They've been funneling billions forever. I really do wonder where all those billions are going. Just because as of now, and somebody let me know, I haven't seen much footage of the Ukraine-Russia situation. It's not covered in Western media anymore because it's old news, but they still sending billions by the boatload in military aid. But then again, the military aid, as far as the actual armaments they are sending, I've seen stories where a lot of that stuff end up being sold on the black market and it end up in Africa, helping the Sudanese fight against their own people. Like, so they're funneling military stuff in disguised as Ukrainian aid, and is hitting Ukraine and it's going out to Africa and all the war zones. And Ukraine making money and the U.S. making money. It's like it's all taxpayer funded, or is it really taxpayer funded? Because even their receipts ain't all that good no more as far as people actually paying taxes. So it's like it's the reserve currency funded, but like that, and that's why the world is getting upset about the abuse and weaponization of the dollar on top of other things. Oh my goodness. It's like a horror show in real time. But it's still good for us though. We're still blessed though. That's the good part about it. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Yo, Mike, what's happening? This is Gio from NYC.
Gio, what's going on, my friend? Give me some good news.
I wish I can, Mike, but listen, one thing for sure, I called it. I said it best.
What's that?
When 2023's birth arrived, it was in my bingo card that we will have some sort of financial crisis. And look what's happening now. You see these banks left and right just falling apart, man. And people don't see it, but it's like America right now is at a boiling point, especially now with the whole border crisis thing, man.
Yeah.
And people are just downplaying that. Even my coworkers as well, some have been bringing up the fact that we are in a recession, which I'm glad they see it. And I'm just like, yo, Mike, I'll tell you, everything slowly but surely is all coming to an end, man. And I'm actually like not kind of worried because I know something big is bound to happen, especially in quarter three. Everybody's talking about quarter three, that something big is going to go down.
Yeah.
Could be the stock market or whatever, but something big is definitely going to go down. And I've been trying to warn people, Mike. I've been trying to warn people to, try to withdraw their funds from the bank, man, because it's all fun and games when you get paid and you go to the bank and the ATMs don't work.
Right.
So
very true.
The biggest "I told you so" ever, man. It's going to be bananas, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the blue states, in the big cities.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's the idea of a recession. Like the fact there's been more enough, mainstream coverage now, recession. So it's clear that our economy has tanked a long time ago. Just look at the indicators that they've been using. The indicators they no longer consider to be recessionary indicators, they dismissed. So that lets us know we were in a recessionary environment a while ago. So what comes after that is more of a depressionary style. And that's what, if that's Q3, something breaks, something happens, it gets real bad. The world knows. That's on a depressionary pathway, and that plays more in alignment with that hard landing that Powell thinks might be in the distant future. But I'm like, it don't stop there. Like we got a soft landing, hard landing, and then what I've been saying is the unfortunate side of things. What goes past the depression is like a crash and burn scenario where we just can't recognize up from down. Like nothing makes sense. There's no sense of civility amongst the people, and that's on some crash and burn status that. God forbid it gets to that point, but that's at the end of all this because there's no way of sorting through the debt and who owns what, and will the actual law be enforced? Like, think about this: all the police officers, if their pensions go belly up, if they can't get their bank accounts either, who gonna show up to go protect and serve? You know what I'm saying? So you better have some backup for those guys. And so I bet you the law enforcement, they'll jump on board with a CBDC right away if they're guaranteed to get their pensions reinstated and their bank accounts reactivated, and the CBDCs, they go sign up for that for sure. They put in 20, 30 years to just lose it all on a whim like that. So I can see how people will be more easily to accept. You'll be made whole in this new currency, download this app. So it just seems like the worse things get, the easier it is for people to say, you know what, I ain't got nothing to lose. I lost everything. I'll sign up. Sign me up. So yeah, I'm ranting too much.
But that's why, I'm glad I'm not in Chicago, man, because once the law and order over there goes down, pretty much that whole city's just going to go up in flames, man. It's just going to be complete anarchy. I wanted to mention this. Definitely the biggest clown of them all in the entire Biden administration, I mean, it has to be Karine Jean-Pierre, man, because she's literally going out there to the press and just trying to downplay everything. And it's just so obvious because sometimes I don't even know why I sit through it, because it's just blatant lie after lie after lie. And I got to give a shout out to Peter Doocy for calling her out on the BS, because the American people are not that dumb, man.
But think about this
right now.
I would like to have some hope, but the fact that our country has gotten to this point where people don't think for themselves or question anything lets me know that perhaps the majority are not dumb, but they're just naive and ignorant to truth. The fact they don't want to accept truth, even if it was right in front of their face. Like right now, the fact that the bank records show that the Biden's been getting bread from everybody around the world. They're still diehard Democratic supporters of Trump or Biden say that no, that's not true. That's fake news. That's not real. They dug that up. That's old. That's not really. So people will be willing to defend ignorance too. So like exposing the Biden crime family, I might have helped them in the polls.
Yeah, exactly. But let's see where this goes, Mike. But one thing for sure, I kind of applaud McCarthy for standing his ground, man, because yes, we do need to cut some spending, man. There's no way that the country can continue printing and printing and printing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, no one learned from Venezuela, but I guess the country's gonna learn the hard way. So it just becomes, you could just wipe your behind with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna lead to eventually, man. So
yeah,
I don't know, but I already warned people. I'm not gonna be a broken record. Whatever happens, I told you so. It is what it is, Mike.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, of course, man. Be easy.
Be good. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Totally from Brooklyn. How you doing, bro?
CB, doing good, my friend. What's in mind?
A couple of quick things. I hear that Biden is funneling money to Ukraine in order to in order to pay off the military African in Africa, is what I'm hearing. And that's why nobody's really up in arms about it, is because that money is going to a different country and the weapons are going there to afford it. You don't hear anything about Obama's African anymore. That's because who can afford it down in Africa? Nobody.
Right.
You have to funnel that money to them.
Good point. Good point. Like so. Go ahead.
Your immigration,
Mm-hmm.
your immigration thing is part of their financial repression.
Mm-hmm.
Is to get these immigrants in here for a lower wage and have them. It's the same thing they did with the Africans when they brought them over here. They didn't have what war went on in Africa where we was able to just jump on the ship and go. I've never seen any person of color.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a gun. No, we're defending ourselves.
Yeah.
100%. And then, they bring us over here talking about a better life and better life. Meanwhile, and the same thing happened with the North-South War.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the money. And it's all about the money, man. It's all about the money.
100%, man. So just like all those people flooding into the country, like I don't think they're coming here like to, in full pursuit of the American dream. I think they've been promised something, which has enticed them to be willing to take those long travels if they've actually traveled to those distances rather than been flown, halfway and walk the rest. But I don't think they're coming here for peaceful means. I don't think they're coming here to work. I think they're coming here to literally, they're probably going to be compensated for destruction. Like they're going to be paid according to the amount of damage they're done in certain metropolitan areas to create that narrative that, we've lost control. Americans are clashing with, it's the Americans. They're going to say it's the Americans. They're not going to say that they're illegal immigrants that are causing all these problems. They're going to blame it on the Americans. It's just, they're going to make something up. Go ahead. Okay.
I flew a red eye. This is a couple of years ago when Obama was president.
Yeah.
I flew on a red eye, and there was some immigrants who to me hadn't bathed in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to them, and I was like, "How'd you guys, come over here?" And well, we were over in Honduras, and our they made it seem like they had a medical office shut down, and so they flew us back over here, and we're going to stay at some place over here in the United States. I'm like, what? And I talked to a cousin of mine who is actually an attendant. He said they do it all the time. They fly them in and put them up in the halfway houses or just transporting places, and they give them everything. You know that.
Yeah.
They give them housing, they give them food, they give them vouchers. Meanwhile, we got to pay for that. So it's just like the same way they did the people of color over in Africa to get them over here to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They paid the way and afforded everything here. They promised the 40 acres and a mule, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. 40 acres and a mule. Everybody coming below Mexico, they've been promised something. They've been given stipends to make this long trek, and they've been promised to get something when they get here. And just put your tinfoil hat on. Give me 1 second. It's been a minute. If I put my tinfoil hat on, turn it sideways. If I put my tinfoil hat on and just think about what are some of the things that, because definitely these are like NGOs. These are like George Soros funded entities, businesses down in Central America, Asia, wherever they're coming from, and they probably have advertising on billboards. Free travel to the U.S. Get $500. To start, and then when you touch down, you get the other 500. You know what I'm saying? Free trip, boarding houses and whatever. And so that's very enticing. And I know if I was in a foreign land being given opportunity like that to where there's appears to be no strings attached other than you get some money up front and you get some when you get where you're going, and then you get a chance to live and not have to go through all the process of needing paperwork. I'm there. Sign me up. I'm bringing me and all my boys. We all coming. But then along the way, they're going to be like, okay, this is your assignment. You're going to have to, so you're going to live in this area and you can either look for employment or we got employment for you. You get an extra signing bonus, $1,500, $2,000 signing bonus if you join the, men's something another group. And in that group is some radical 3-letter agencies that are being, instructed to train these people, probably military action if they're not already trained, as well as like giving them all types of directives on how to go create and start problems. You know what I'm saying? So like this web of foolishness goes a lot deeper than just people taking long walks, looking for freedom, looking for opportunity. No, it's just that's some tinfoil hat. Make of it what you may. But anyway, very interesting times, man. Very interesting times. So we got more than enough topics that's happening in real time to keep us in prayer. Our nation, our world needs prayer. We should pray for the people in political positions of power over this country. Pray that the Lord turn their heart to righteousness, that they have a epiphany that, working for the enemy has no eternal rewards. It's just short-lived. You can have, 100 million net worth, insider trading and all that stuff and live comfortable now on the hill. But once the invasion of all those foreigners come, they're going for their mansions. Like it won't be hard to find where all those politicians live at. But then again, they have access to the bunkers in the mountains. So they're going to fly all the Congress out of here if stuff get bad. So, anyway, anyway, I'm just having some fun. But anyway, I'm about to dial back. I appreciate you guys for blessing me with your presence and your time and just, talking through this craziness. But ultimately, this world needs prayer. And definitely we need to pray for our politicians, your family, friends, and loved ones. Pray for wisdom and guidance. And I've it's been on my heart a lot the last couple of days. The Holy Spirit is present and is here to comfort, guide, and to lead. All the wisdom and revelation we need can be channeled through the Holy Spirit in real time so that every believer has a chance at being able to have less damage done to their overall existence in this life, but not completely shielded from it, but in better position than the average Joe who has no clue about what's going on. So being led by the Holy Spirit is what I'm banking on like never before, just because I know I ain't got the wisdom or the know-how to get none of this stuff done, what's coming. But then again, the greater one inside of me does. So I trust him 100% that everything is working out according to his plan. So anyway, just some good news to end on tonight. So stay prayed up and continue to do everything in the natural to prepare as best you can. But then again, you're going to need that spiritual side of things as well. So make sure you stay in your word and continue to, have faith. He gave us a spirit of sound mind, power. And so we can walk in that 100%. Anyway, I forgot the actual verse. It just didn't come to me the way I wanted it to. But all right, my good people, be blessed, be safe. See you guys. It's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. So no Mike and Mario tomorrow. Schedule don't permit it. So just think crazy on my end. Just trying to stay busy as I can. Trying to get my weight up. Trying to hustle my way to get my weight up, get my ammo up and everything else. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. See you guys later. Shalom. China's hoarding a massive amount of food. They will soon have over 2/3 of the globe's corn reserves, over half of its rice, and over half of its wheat. But when asked about it, China lies. So what does China know that we don't? China is the world's #1 importer, relying on the rest of the world to keep their people fed. This makes them the canary in the coal mine when it comes to global food shortages. As Americans, we need to be prepared for potential food shortages. That's where 4Patriot Survival Food comes in. Their kits are compact, stackable, and have received a 5-star review for their flavor and taste. And right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase by using code RTD at checkout at 4patriots.com. Don't wait. Prepare today. Once again, use code RTD at 4patriots.com and save 10% on your first purchase.